What's up, everybody? It's Nick and B-Man here,
Yo,
coming
what's
at
up?
you with some additional productivity, life hacks, self-improvements, way to be the best version of you. And tonight, B-Man's going to kick it off with something we want to talk about, basically how multitasking is a load of crap.
Yeah, over the last couple of weeks, we've been going through some of these productivity things, and my mind has been blown a couple times, but never as much as this one. So it turns out that multitasking was as big of a ruse as having 7 servings of grain a day was. Like, this is just nonsense.
Yeah.
It turns out that there are a lot of downsides to multitasking, mainly that you're not paying attention, you're not giving it 100%. Distractions lead to more distractions. And the truth of the matter is that single tasking or focusing on just one event is what we should be doing. And it will lead to more productivity throughout your day. Single tasking lets you build up that muscle memory, lets you pay attention, develop your focus. It's really about helping you accomplish what you want to accomplish, getting into a deep focus or a flow state, and, just keeping your eye on the prize, really. um, when I look back at it, I'm most disappointed that like multitasking was one of the things I touted on a resume when I was younger.
Yeah.
I'm an energetic multitasker. Well,
Yeah.
now I read that and say, well, this guy's going to be all over the
Yeah.
place.
100%.
Kind of your takeaway
100%.
too.
Yeah, I mean, like you read about it, and it turns out that like the human brain is not meant to multitask, right? Like I read this proverb, like an ancient Russian proverb. It's like if you chase two rabbits, you don't catch any rabbit. So like, and that's the freaking truth, man.
Yeah.
Like there's a scientific study that came out where if you are focused and in the flow, right? So say you're working on like this Excel project and you're trying to manage a couple things at once. So you're in the middle of this Excel project and an important email comes across and you're like, I'm just going to take 2 minutes out of this. I'm going to bang this email out because I've been waiting for this response. Like the average person takes like 23 minutes and 15 seconds to recoup from that interruption and get back to where they were in that sort of flow state.
Wow.
So that those sort of interruptions, searching the Twitter feed, responding to an email, a text message, managing an Excel spreadsheet and trying to have a conversation with someone that's in the office, or they walk into and they have a question for you. Like if you do that twice in an hour, you're not getting back to like the state you were in where you were knocking out this project until the next hour. Like, and you only have 8 hours at work, and that's why folks are treading water trying to keep their head above,
Yep.
because they're trying to handle all of those things at once. And not only that, like if you're not focused on the task, the end product is going to stink, right? So like it's that ancient, what's that proverb, like it's like sharpen once and sharpen like 10 times and cut once versus like having to cut a million times. I probably just butchered it, but you get the gist. Like I'd rather spend 5 minutes sharpening my axe before I go to cut down the tree than starting to like just cutting it down and finding out that I've got all this other issues going on. You're going to do a task. It's going to be not as good as it should be. What do you got to do? You got to go back and edit it and do it again, or it's going to be sloppy. And the person you send it to is going to have questions. And you're like, oh my God, how did I not address that? Or how did I mess that up? Easy. You decided to log on Facebook in the middle of it because you needed a 5 minute mental break. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, everything just goes, somewhere else.
And we're not entirely crazy. We realize that we live in a world full of distractions.
Oh,
You,
100%.
your ring cam's going off, or you're getting a text message at work, your boss is bugging you about something. Like those things are going to be there.
Yeah.
But if you're multitasking, you're only adding to that pile. So try to take a few
Right.
things off your pile. Try to be more fully present. And then the science says that you won't suffer from, raised cortisol or brain fatigue, that you'll be able to make better decisions. And to go back to what we were talking about a few weeks ago, try something for 10 minutes, try the 10
Yeah.
minute method, combine some of these tools and techniques together and see if you can increase your productivity or just feel better about how things are going.
Yeah.
To give a double shout out, a can of Jot, a nice iced coffee,
Yeah.
a little bit of deep focus,
Yeah.
you'll be accomplishing your work tasks all day.
Well,
It's
think about
really
how
that
good
easy.
it feels to like if to have your to-do list and check one off, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a great feeling to be consecutively throughout the day. Like I'm not moving on to number 2 until I'm done number 1, right? That's actually something that I think it's Warren Buffett does a real simple to-do list, right? And he has like 1 to 5. He
Mhm.
focuses on number 1. He doesn't move to number 2, 3, 4, or 5 until number 1 is complete. He doesn't allow himself to do it. So if you just kind of do it like that and single task and you're just knocking those things out left and right, you feel great about it. You can look back at your day and be like, dude, I crushed 4 out of 5 items. Number 5 becomes number 1 versus, okay, I got done number 1 and number 3, part of number 4 today, didn't make it to number 5. And I got done number 2, but then I got a bunch of questions back. So I got to revisit it tomorrow. Like that feels like shit.
You
Like
just
I didn't
described
do anything today.
that's the typical work day for most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get mired in it. Well, and I think that it works on every level. So speaking of those simple task lists, like if you're struggling, it could be something as get out of bed
Right.
or, eat one healthy meal, like
Right.
all of that. It could really be that easy. You don't have to multitask in every aspect. And there are some times where you can multitask, but assign the task to something else. Don't be afraid to delegate. For instance, you can do a load of laundry while you're cutting the lawn. Like not that type of multitasking. We're
Right.
talking about the multitasking that takes your brain power.
Right. You know what? I really like that. I think like you hit on something really important there too about like the eating healthy and stuff like that. What happens when people decide they want to get healthy, right? What do? They go to the store, they buy every single healthy snack under the sun. Then they decide, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to walk. I'm going to run. I'm going to bike. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it's like for the last 5 years, you've struggled to simply not drink soda every day. And now all of a sudden you're just going to do this. It's like, no, you're going to do all 10 of those things half-ass and you're not going to have any recognizable impact. But if you just start with like, I'm going to eat healthy from now on, you check that off and make it a habit. And then you move on to the next thing. That's pretty cool. I never thought of it like that.
The next time you get a resume in and it says, energetic multitasker, what are you going to do?
I'd probably still bring him in for an interview and ask him about it. Like, because I feel like most people feel like that's a buzzword, right? Yeah. Like it still holds that buzzworthiness in corporate and business school and stuff like that. It's only now that as the science comes out and people are, becoming more attuned to it that we realize like we've just been fed a line of crap.
And it still sounds so bad to do the inverse and be like, I'm really a single-minded focused guy. And be like, oh, this guy's a nutcase.
Inevitably you get that question in the interview that's like, how do you handle stress when you have a high pressure situation and multiple, like, who's the guy that's like, well, I sit there and I take one item at a time and I don't move on to the next one until that one's done. And be like, this has been nice. HR will be in contact if we want to move forward. You're like, I blew that one. But like, we need to change that stigma, man. If you can prove that you can produce results and good results that don't have to be double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked, and have 8 million different like responding emails, what's the point of how you get it done? It's just a matter of getting it done.
Yeah. And we've overcomplicated everything. So let's get back to a simplified life, simplified workspace, all of it.
Yeah.
Simplify, man.
Yeah. Simple is great.
All right. Well, that's it on trying to manage just one task, do a little bit more focus, see how it works out for you. All right. Till next time, shields up.
Shields up.